morning. So in yesterday's vlog I was speaking about how I had been on the carnivore diet for 90 days and then I decided I was going to have a week's break where I would eat more of a variety of different foods, just because the season had changed and I really fancied, you know, all the seasonal things, pies and hot chocolates and I don't know, all different things. But it's only been a few days and all this stuff, I'm not buying processed foods, I'm making everything from scratch. But it's only been a few days and I am already feeling so much worse. I have got terrible pains in my guts, and also the worst thing for me is I am back to not being able to sleep because I have such an issue with anxiety. Last night I didn't sleep very well at all, and then since 3:30 this morning I've been wide awake. So this is probably going to be the last day that I am not doing the carnivore diet, and then I'm going to go straight back onto it tomorrow. It's just I can't do it today because I need to get the food ready for tomorrow. But yeah, I cannot go on not doing it. I felt so much better when I was on the carnivore diet. My anxiety went completely. I could sleep really well. My aches and pains had gone. My IBS had gone. So many different things. So yes, today's the last day of my fairly normal way of eating, and then tomorrow back to carnivore. And if you're interested, I can show you what I eat as a carnivore, yeah, different carnivore recipes that I use, and yeah, just show you how I do it. So one thing I was doing when I knew that I couldn't sleep anymore was I've been reading, and this is the book that I'm reading at the moment. I bought this one in a book sale at the library the other day, and it's called French Children Don't Throw Food, Parenting Secrets from Paris, and it is so good so far. I'm pleasantly surprised. I didn't think it was going to be that good and that kind of useful. I've only read about a quarter so far, but yeah, absolutely loving it so far. And if you didn't already know, I am French. I was born in France but brought up in England. It's a good book, but it's written by an American woman who's married to an Englishman, and they are living in Paris and raising their children in Paris. And it's so good to see it from that outsider's perspective. Things that French people take for granted, the way they do things, they don't even think about it, but then an outsider comes along and really analyses it, and it's just so good. And the bit I've just read has been about how French parents get their children or their babies to sleep through the night from a very young age, from sometimes just a few weeks old, but usually by 3 or 4 months their babies sleep through the night. So yeah, fascinating stuff, love it. So I highly recommend that. It's by Pamela Druckerman, and I'll leave a link below if I can find one. But yeah, fantastic book. Anyway, today I'm going to share with you a bit more of a homeschool day in the life of our family, because we've got Henry, who is 12, Scarlett, who is 9, and Wilf, who is 7. So I'll show you all the different things that they're doing at the moment. And then William, what do you do? Do you do paint? Yes, you do. You do painting?
Yeah.
You made a lantern, didn't you?
Yeah.
You loved that, didn't you?
The dragon would come down to the lake and have a sheep or a lamb or a chicken or a cattle. and the knight didn't know this, but he would come out with his sword and the dragon would quickly slither away. The knight had to have a lot of courage within, and he was very strong. You just see if you can follow me. And small, and then let's do it really big. So my hand might leave the screen, but as big as you can. One little hill, one big hill, and another little hill. Excellent. And then the hand that you don't draw with, you're going to do the same form.
On the other hand?
One little hill, one big hill, and another little hill. And so we're going to do all of those. We're going to go straight down, and then we're going to do those together.
Okay.
You can move this, so I can just stand in the middle.
Ready?
So straight down, and then
big
slithering dragon. Excellent. Now when you're practicing forms, the fun thing is you can do them many ways. So you might...
So we find the middle of the page, but you don't do it yet, wait till I finish. And go straight. Oh, wow.
Maybe the first form you did in first grade. Now you're in second grade. Now I'm going to use green for the dragon.
Oh, but what wrong? Not on there.
And a little, because dragons move like that, a little bit like a snake. Okay. Finger to see if I can line up all of those hills. Excellent. And I'm not going to go over. I'm just going to do my one straight line. And
the other side?
My finger again.
And the other side?
Then.
You might find that starting on this side is easier for you. So find out which side first you're more comfortable with.
Straight down.
And now I'm going to
That was perfect.
with my finger. It's worth it to take the time to practice it many times before you draw it. You could walk this form, lay it out in stones. Now I feel ready. Now we have our straight line and curved line, which you have done before. Great, so this is our first form. Number one up here. You don't need to do that. This is our first form in the series.
Now see if you can match it on the other
And
side.
let's end with a verse. Now it is time for my hands to rest. They have done their work. They have done their best. Goodbye, thank you, second grade.
No.
Okay, write that down. So Wilf has been working on his maths. This week we are just working with subtracting 3, and he's also been working on his form drawings. For Wilf's form drawing, he is doing some online lessons because they have nice stories to go with their form drawings, and they do the movements and everything first. And we also work through some of the form drawings in this book, Creative Form Drawing with children aged 6 to 10, and I'll link that below. Wilf is also, one of his blocks that he's doing at the moment is fables, so he's learning about some saints. He does that online lessons for that, so I don't have any books for that. But we also read through the Aesop's fables, which is another good book. And then bedtime at the moment, I'm reading him from stories from this book. It's called The 7-Year-Old Wonder Book, and they have really lovely stories. The children always adore these stories, so that's a good one. So Scarlett's just preparing her page. She's doing a border, and then she's going to do her maths in a minute. I have written the questions up on the board, and we're doing division, and we're going to be using these Math-U-See blocks here to help so Scarlett can visualise what it means to do division.
Mine is flat. Is it?
So one of the blocks that Scarlett is currently doing is Norse mythology, and I've just read her a chapter out of this book called Norse Mythology by Charles Kovacs, and it was about Idun, the goddess with the apples. So yeah, we've just read that one, and this is a really fantastic book if you're studying mythology. We don't actually use any curriculum to do this block. I like to teach it myself, but this book is like the base of it all. We have some other books that we also use. We've got this Neil Gaiman book, and I've actually borrowed the audio book version from our local library, and it's read by Neil Gaiman himself. So Scarlett's going to be listening to that. And we have this other book called The Children of Odin. This is a really good book. The Book of Northern Myths. Lovely book. And another one, a bit of a vintage book. This is called The Lost Gods of England, so that's really nice, and it's got some nice photographs in of some artifacts and stuff like that. So that's another good book that we have been looking at. Because I've read that chapter today on Idun, I don't know if that's the correct way of pronouncing it, but you know who I mean, the goddess with the apples. In this book, which is called Learning About the World Through Modelling, Sculptural Ideas for School and Home. This has got different projects that you can do according to the grade that you're doing, and it has got about the Norse myths in here. And one of the things is to mould or sculpt an apple tree with golden apples on, and the goddess Idun collecting the apples. So that is what Scarlett's going to do tomorrow. So we read the chapter today. She'll sleep on it tonight and think about it, and then we will use our modelling beeswax, and she can make that little model and kind of bring the story to life, and then she will remember it more and it will have more meaning to her. This is her main lesson book that she's been doing so far this year. We've done the man and animal block, so she's created some beautiful pages. Let's see if I can focus. Yeah.
So cool.
Really nice colours she's used. And then this is where we've started the Norse myths. We kept going in the same book because we hadn't used much of it. And this is the first story about creation in the Norse myths. So we've got the ice on one side, the fire on the other, and the sparks go onto the ice, and everything is created basically from that. And then we have our picture, well, Scarlett's picture of the Yggdrasil with Asgard and Midgard and the Rainbow Bridge, you know, all different aspects of the myths that she's been learning. And this is Thor with the lightning bolts coming out of his hammer, being drawn by some goats, I think. Yeah, so that's what she's done so far in her main lesson book. So now we've done Wilf's lessons today, Scarlett's lessons today, and now I'm going to get Henry set up with his lessons, and I'll show you what he's doing. And there is this other book that we've also been reading for Scarlett's Norse mythology block called The Saga of Eric the Viking, and that's got some nice pictures in, and it's good stories. And there is another book as well which she's reading that's upstairs in her bedroom at the moment, just on the Norse myths. Yeah, so we've got lots of different books that she's looking through at the moment for the Norse mythology block. And for Scarlett's handwork at the moment, she's doing some cross stitch to make a bookmark. So she just drew her own design on there with pencil and is just going over it with the colours that she wants. So for Henry's work so far this year, he's been doing his maths. He's been doing loads of maths. It's just a quick flick through his maths book. Here was not a good day, but we resolved all this and he now knows how to do this. It gets a bit better, as you can see. But he is quite glad that this maths block is over now. He's not the most keen on maths. But yeah, that's quite a lot, I think, that he's done there. And then he did his Middle Ages block. So this is a quick flick through his book. This is his main lesson book he used to do Middle Ages. But it isn't quite complete. He is going to tidy up some of the pieces and add some more detail. But these are just some examples of illuminated writing and different borders that he could use for this block. He created this old looking piece here. Wrote a silence vow. Some more examples of illuminated writing. His portrait thing there. Some shields. And then a shield that he designed. I think he's going to add colour to this. A paper cutout of Joan of Arc. Eleanor of Aquitaine. A bubonic plague doctor. Some creative writing. This was about Giotto and how he drew a circle for the Pope. A piece of writing about the bubonic plague doctor. Some architecture. A Robin Hood poem. Joan of Arc picture. More stuff about the Joan of Arc. The Medicis. Wrote lots about the Medicis. This is a King Arthur poem. And then we're on to Leonardo da Vinci. Some stuff about his work. More Leonardo da Vinci. A quote of his. And then Michelangelo he studied. More Michelangelo. And Raphael. A Renaissance map. And then I think we're on to Reformation. The Fire of Vanity. More stuff about the Reformation. And then his idea of utopia. Henry's, I mean. And then this is something that he needs to write out in his book about Martin Luther. He hasn't written that out yet. Oh yeah, and then at the back of the book he's got some of his art. First he was working on shadow, light and shadows. That's this way. And I don't know. I think that he just decided to do that. I don't think that was a lesson. More about light and shadows here. And then some perspective drawings that he did. It's not quite hard to see on the camera, I think. It's quite light. And I think that's it. That was the whole book. Now Henry is working on his astronomy block, which is fantastic so far. He's done about 3 lessons, living lessons, so he does them with a proper Waldorf teacher online, and it's really good. So that's his cover page that he's done. He's painted that with acrylic paints based on the Van Gogh one. Here is an experiment he did where he put his cup down in the garden, drew round the shadow, then waited 10 minutes and then drew round again. And then it's just some of the work that he's been writing in his book about what he's learned in his living lessons. And that's it so far. This is a great book that I have been reading to him, the astronomy section. Really fantastic again. Charles Kovacs, any books of his I think are so good. So I highly recommend that, and I'll link everything below if you're interested in any of that. So I hope you enjoyed my little catch up with you on our homeschool lately, and if you have any questions let me know, or you want me to do a video on any other sort of aspect of homeschooling, or I don't know, anything like that, then just let me know in the comments below. Thanks for watching. See you soon. Bye.